Whoops. What's up, dudes?
Nothing much.
Hmm. I was a little bit pissed.
What's wrong?
Well, my dad is making some sort of sponge cake in the oven, and it has, well, let's say it has been poured over itself on the edge, and it has made a perfect circle on the uh uh how to say the grill patterns underneath and on the bot on the floor in the oven itself. And it's like, well, and my mom says like, well, you can clean it, but I was not the one who even made the cake, and I'm not, and I was responsible to have the responsibility to clean it. Seriously, but sometimes I wonder what's even going through that woman's mind. Sometimes I want to kick her ass, but sometimes I want to just to throw under a bus and drive over it like 10 times. Oh, like, oh, well, I'm not clean that messed up. Sometimes it feels like it, but I cannot even do that since, well, first of all, I don't even have a driver license, and I don't even have a bus. So, I mean, sometimes we can always have the thoughts and saying that we want to do things that never even actually do it. Like, say, um, I mean, for example, if you have a very much serious argument with your parents, siblings, or even a best friend, or even another case, a roommate. Like that's understandable that people have a lot of type of argues in there. Cross their minds like if they say if a guy have a roommate and that guy is like okay that he's looking for a roommate, fine, that's perfectly normal. And that and on the phone at the first meeting this guy looks perfectly fine, perfectly like say mental stable, but it turned out that he was not the type, and that he was like, okay, I'm have a job and I got myself fired and I'm going to look for a new job, but hit newsflash, never did, and that she's sitting on the couch eating, 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 eating. That type of argue, it's like if I'm in heavens like that as a roommate and like I'm gonna freaking kill you. And especially now if that guy end up on as a lease as with the roommate, it's not easy like say, oh, I just leave. If on the both guys are on the same lease, um, I can say the process to have someone evicted is not easy. It can take months or even weeks or months to have a person to be evicted. But if say if Roy have a roommate or he had lived in an apartment and he had one of his friends or a guy living with him, so that the guy is like that, and that even though the apartment is only in Roy's name, and well, that's more easier to fix it. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I have been having that type of feeling. Like sometimes I would just want to run over my parents with by the car or a freaking tank. Sometimes when I have this to argue with them, of course they can also always be um it can always happen with anyone. Even I had those thoughts, but I've never even want to do it. I'm like, first of all, I mean, if I were to just take the car, ran over my parents, two things that I would not even work out. One, I don't even have a driver license, and two, I don't even know how to drive a car. Even it's a even the gears is manual or is automatic. I had never even tried to even use any of those. Unlike one time with my mom supposed to be driving to the corner carport, but she put in the gear to back out, reverse backwards out, but somehow I don't know how that even happened. That the gear switched. Instead for she was pulling backwards. She was going to back out for the carport, but somehow it switched back and she drive forward out almost through the wall. Part of the hood and the front tires was literally hanging outside of the wall. And my mom, or at least my dad, called for a tool truck. And when they saw that happen, they were laughing their asses off. I mean, she has no idea how that even happened. I mean, sometimes when you're having that happen, and like I said, if when you have someone that you have this argue with, that you just have this feeling that you want to strangle them, or at least like, I'm gonna freaking murder that guy or that woman. I mean, that is something that goes through almost basically any individual mind in the world. I can say one example that kind of did went through my mind twice. I was at my old job. I was in the well, now it's in that department no longer exists since they use a book storage there. Anyways, I was there painting. My former supervisor was sitting maybe at 6 feet away from me at the time. She was doing something, and an old classmate of mine, he was working at the same place. He just walked in, and we start talking, and it's end up a more or less heating conversation, almost argue. Well, in the end, it's well, let's say I was screaming at him. It that kind of painful he were as a person. I mean, I was screaming, and my supervisor at the time, she sat near there. She was about only like that 6 feet away from me. She heard it, and then I even stood up and walked up to this guy. It felt I just wanted to freaking strangle that guy, but I never did. Instead, I walked past him and out from that room and just cooled down. When I came back, he was gone. Another time when I was having the same dude I had to argue. I was sitting with my supervisor or at least someone else uh, in the cafeteria just to pay the people to pay for the stuff that came when one of that older woman, she's pointed out that some of the new coins that Sweden actually introduced only about a couple of years ago. She said that some of the uh, other retired people have a little bit difficult to see the difference with some of the new coins. Some of them are like were looked kind of similar, and I was going to point it out. I understood that me and other person we understood that, and I was about to go into explain why. I mean, that's going to explain what I thought about it, but my old classmate came around the corner and he overheard this conversation. And the reason I was going to explain to this woman that the reason why these new coins came around was because that the old ones had a lot of nickel, and a lot of people have a nickel allergic reactions. So I was about to explain the new coins that we have is mainly copper and zinc. And as my old classmate just showed up, as he was like, "Oh, by the way, I need to argue with him or something." Um, and I was like, the main rule that we have if we sit to help to pay our customers is not to have any argue in front of a customer. But this guy, he was literally in my face. I was like, he was not even just. He could have been like maybe as uh not even 2 feet away from me. he was like maybe as I guess maybe 20, 40 inches away from me, my face. I was sitting behind the counter and he was on the other side. But I was like so pissed. I was so pissed at him. Oh, hey, Alexis Hart. What's up? I was so pissed at him. But I didn't even do. I didn't do anything that hurt him or anything like it. Because at that place, if we were to have any assault, hurt anyone, or threatened anyone, that would immediately be had to be responsible to be reported to police. So I was told to just leave, and I did. And the guy, he didn't follow after me or something like that. But then one day he was completely gone for the place. He turns out he will have to leave for a good reason, which I don't even know why exactly at the time. But even to this day, I don't even know exactly what he did. Well, I mean, I know that he did something, but exactly what he said or whatever like that. So he threatened some of the other staff. I don't know what he even said, and I can say one other thing that this guy did. Um, we have a one person that was responsible for the carpenter department at my old job. He was not there in the department at the time. My supervisor, she was looking for him. She went there to look for him and talk to him about it. But my old classmate was there, and well, I don't know what happened except that she was pissed at him. And not only me or the guy who was running it, who was taking care of the head of the carpenter department, was pissed at him. Many other people were, because when he was in the department of carpenter, he never put back the tools on the right responsible their spot they were supposed to be in, like in a drawer on or on the wall. He could just leave them as they were. When he was in my old apartment, he could spend a lot of paint and all of those duct tapes, not like those electric thick tape like you have for like if you put to fix a cable. One of those simple white, like a paper like duct tape, and he used he was making mask, not one, not two, probably like 4 or 5, and he used maybe a whole roll of duct tape for maybe just 2 of the masks, and then he made a huge sword. And the sword was could probably, I don't know, maybe it's 3 feet long and maybe as I would guess maybe as 10 or maybe 15 inches thick or wide. And he used duct tape for that. After some time he left, he came back and someone asked if he still wanted that sword. And he didn't even complete it. And it's like, no, I don't want it anymore. So he they threw it away. But that is not the only way that he also did. Um, One day I wanted to paint something with a very special type of paint. This type of paint was magnetic. Like say, you can put that type of paint on wood. I mean, it's like if you like refrigerator magnets, you're gonna put that once on this piece of wood with a paint on it because the paint contains that type of properties. But when I was about to open, when I found that small paint for the container, but the hatch on it was open. I was like, okay, maybe he just forgot to pin it, look, close it. But paint was completely ruined. It was dry as a rock. It was hard as a rock. And that paint is not cheap at all. Just that small amount of paint in a small container, it's gonna cost between us 4 to 500 for it. And one those bigger containers could cost from between us almost 700. And I wanted to use that particular paint. It was pain in the ass, I don't tell you. Another time when he's the same day, in fact, that happened, he can spend. Okay, this is something that I did. I mean, if you he could have put some paint brushes in a cup of water, which to me was perfectly fine because the brushes were not being ruined. But sometimes when he used those, he never dried them off or anything. He just let them be laying there, and the paint will dry out. And that sure, you can always use a very hot water to remove that old paint, but the process of doing that take maybe as a few minutes. But why did we have to fix that when he was the one responsible? And we can even use some old pieces of maybe old brushes or maybe just a stick to move around in the paint when we are used to use it. And he had used one and he had put it on the bench the same afternoon when I spotted. I was about to move it, but I couldn't even move it. It was stuck to the bench. So I had to find a hammer and a screwdriver, and I had to bang it off. Bang! I had to bang it underneath in order to move it. That is one of the few reasons why this guy was a straight pain in the ass. I have to tell you, there was 2 times when I was so close to just I was so pissed at him. I would just want to strangle that guy, but I never did, of course, because if I did, I would have been have reported to police for assault or even attempted murder of all place. I mean, I nope, I didn't want to have that on any record. So, but after a while, the guy was just like poof, gone. But I know that he is at another place, which he actually had um he had showed up at my new workplace a couple of times, but this time though we can actually have at least a decent compensation. Oh, I should mention one thing that even though this was a complete innocent question, at the time when we were working the same place, his dad is in his mid 50s, and his dad had married a Thai woman. She was probably 34 or 36 years old. I was like, I only asked him during the lunch how did it feel like to have a stepmother that was half of his father's age, and he was himself nearly close to her age, but I was just only asking like how does it like to have a stepmother that's half of his age. Um, and he flipped out for just a simple question. I mean, can you blame me? I mean, I only heard that his dad has just had married a younger Thai woman, and I was just asking him how they felt to have a stepmother that was just half of his mother's age, and he flipped out for just a simple question. My God, I wonder what even went through that guy's mind. I mean, even based when he was, and even though he has an older brother, I also went same class with him, but he was a little bit older than me. I think he was born 1988. I don't know. But anyways, I mean, his brother was could have been a bit smarter than himself. I mean, okay. Um, one time when I was like in the first or second grade, I believe it was the first grade. My classmate's older brother, we all went for a school trip, and we went to this playground to just to play around. But he wanted to go to swings, but there were no swings whatsoever. Um, See you later, Alexis. See you next time. Um, well, let's say he wanted to jump. Well, he literally jumped in one of those baby swings, and both the teacher and the teacher assistant had to pull and get him loose. And he was like, at least, I think he was at least 8 or 9 at the time. Like I said, he was only a few years older than me, and I thought he was smart enough to know that he would be too old to even fit in that. And still, he did. I mean, what? I mean, I was like only 7 or 8 at the time, and even I was at least a decent mind. Even I knew that I would not fit in it. But that whole family is has pretty much been weird for my entire life. I mean, one winter, this was after Christmas, sometimes about maybe as a week after. Um, for just about I think it was for almost 2 weeks. Me, my brother, my sister, and my mom. We had just gotten up and we were just watching some TV. It's me and my siblings. We were just watching this morning TV, some kid show. I don't. We hadn't even had been able to properly dressed. We hadn't even had breakfast. But still, suddenly, each single morning. Oh, hey, Dashi.
Hey guys. Hey,
Um,
just wanted to ask
Hmm.
you a quick question.
yep.
So computer towers. Sorry about the echo if you hear echo. I have a computer tower that's Windows 7. It has RAM slots, but the little lock pieces are loose. Is it safe to use black electrical tape to hold the RAM in?
Um, I would not be the.
Um,
I would not be the. I would not be able to answer that.
don't look at
Alright,
me.
because
Uh,
I know, but
I
I
mean,
was wondering because I heard that it's not like not a non-conductive tape.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm trying, yeah, because I have RAM, the slots are so loose. The lock pieces are so loose that I cannot even hold it in place. I have found one RAM slot in the computer right like falling around. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? I open it. Yep, a piece of RAM fell out. Not a piece, but the
Hmm.
whole RAM stick fell out.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even know what a RAM is. So
RAM is
well,
for your computer.
it's got
It's
to
what
be
makes your
better
computer run.
than leaving it out in the open.
Yeah, because my RAM, I have two 4 GB RAM. It's like what you use to speed up your computer.
hmm.
I might want to have that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your computer, your laptop has it. Every laptop has it.
No, I mean I might need to have more of it because my computer sucks.
yeah. Like I
Yeah.
said, I would not be much help. I am not much help since I have no idea what even RAM is. Honestly, I
RAM is
haven't
what
even.
makes your computer fast.
Hmm. Yeah, still, I don't know. I don't know. I don't do nothing anything like that.
Like RAM is those flat pieces that have little black squares on it.
The only one I know that's at least at least more decent more about computers is my dad. But yeah, I don't think he
It always,
was. Yeah, but I don't think he was much be helpful anyways.
Ah,
I mean, his English is not as good as mine. I don't know at least, but I know that he worked with computers for a number of years, and
mm,
if I had any problem with my computer, I will always go to him. And this like ask my mom, yeah, it's like ask what to fix the microwave or the TV. Yeah, that's like good luck. Uh yeah, I don't know. Um like I said before, Dashi Junin, the time with my old classmate and his brother did, well, let's say,
mm,
um, that family was pretty weird. Even though that his dad was never married to their mom, which he is like, hallelujah, she was a nutcase, or in his those more friendly term, but um, the reason why did something happen that his their mom and her two sons they showed up at my family's home for 2 weeks every single morning because she wanted to have coffee. I mean, not like she wanted actually want to have coffee. I was like, what? And my mom was like, she's getting a little bit pissed. Why would she have to go to my family's home because she wanted to have some coffee? And it's like, okay, that makes sense, but at the same time, it, that family was pretty weird. I mean, I can tell this. After my old classmate had moved out, he had moved to this type of group home with other people with physical disabilities. Oh, Cypress, aka Malachite, aka
Malachi.
Tonsil guy, Tonsil OC guy. But anyways, he had just moved out, and he had moved to his own place. It's like an apartment building, which had it's owned by a private company. But anyway, he later found out his mom had moved in almost in the same neighborhood. Which okay,
mm,
that's perfectly fine. I mean, I had another friend who also lived at that place at the time also, some time before that, and his parents lived not in the same neighborhood, but they lived quite close by. So in a sense, it was okay. That makes sense. But he had been like him, like my old classmate, him, and like every one of us, as we were growing up, had been taught how to be as independent, like how to, in order to cook, clean, laundry, you name it. And he did all
mm,
that. And of course, he had a staff in that place that he could ask for help. But for some reason, his mom had actually get a spare key to his apartment. And every single day, I don't know exactly if how soon it happened after he moved out, but every time when he got home, she was there cleaning, cooking, and doing his laundry every single day. And he was getting tired of it, despite how much he told her not to do it. Because his mom and his dad have been teaching him and his older brother how to become independent one day, and that they would have to move out because one day their parents wouldn't even be around anymore, and that they had to be
mm,
independent. But as he moved out its own place, have his own life now, and have a girlfriend live in my hometown, and
mm,
boom, his mom just show up, and just like that, she was back in his life to being take care of all. It's like I don't know if she was like, oh my son is still young, I need to take care of him. Lady, you have been teaching your son how to become an independent person, how to be able to take care of himself. Are you going to even clean his butt even as they have to use the bathroom? Seriously, that would have been wicked, wicked weird. And well, let's say he told his dad about it, and well, let's say his dad was not happy. He was not happy. He was even equal mad because I can understand on having his youngest son move out and have his new independence lifestyle to do what he ever wanted. At least they know how to be take care of himself, cook, everything. But having now his mom moving into the same neighborhood, okay, in that perspective, I can understand that it's normal. I mean, like say if Dashi would have moved to a apartment complex and that his mom maybe lived not far from where he lived, maybe just say maybe as 10 or maybe as 20 minutes away from his place. And if he needed
Mhm.
any help with something, he could just call her or text her and she would be over to help him. But having, and it's like my old classmate's mom moved in the same neighborhood, well, basically in the same vicinity that but he lived, and have a spare key. And okay, that's understandable if she is going to take care of his plants if he's away for a
Okay.
couple of days or something. That's more than understandable. But
Yeah,
having to take
okay.
care, but having that her taking care of the whole apartment, like cleaning, laundry, cooking, every single day. It's like it's ruining. It's like robbing him from his own independence that he had been trained and taught from his childhood. It's like, how would you guys felt if you had been taught how to be independent for your entire life, and that one day it's like, okay, like it's like Cypress. He's in his early 20s. Roy is in his also in his mid 20s, and if that
Mm.
even if that Roy's parents lived together, still lived in the same house, even married and all that, and that they decide that now he's if he wasn't in his from between 20 and 22 or something like, or between 20 and 25, it's like you should focus on find a job, and then decided that you had to move out. You're old enough to be take care of yourself, and that's understandable. People do. Or is like
Mhm.
in fact, it's parents that after they have finished high school, they're like 18. Like, okay, what if the Cypress or Malachi's parents, like, and his mom and his uncle, was like, you're 18, pack your bags, you're out, and they at all don't
Yeah.
have the upper. I mean, parents, if you when you had reached 18 or 20, your parents don't have the obligation to take care of you anymore. They can literally kick you out at any
Yes, but
point.
some parents keep their kids until they
Yeah.
feel comfortable to move
hmm
out.
Yeah. I mean, some parents, they can just kick them out. Some parents allow them to stay in exchange that they pay part of the rent, and
Yeah.
which I do. I mean, I lived up with my parents, and I still pay part my part of the rent for food, the bills, and everything. Okay, okay, at least I do that. I mean, my parents don't have the obligation to keep me home. Can kick me out at any time. But where would I go?
Mhm.
There is no place for
But
me
they
to
love you
go.
that much.
Uh, Sometimes they hate me. I found that. On
Mhm.
the mutual feel, and the feelings are mutual. Sometimes I hate them as well.
Mhm.
I mean, there's like a normal day. I mean, how about the Cyprus? How about you do? I mean, do you know how to even take care of yourself? I mean, like
Uh,
laundry, cooking, or like, do you know even the big stuff?
I mean, there. I still got a bit of a ways to go, but my, at least my mom doesn't push me around too much.
I believe we look good effort. Be glad for that, though. I mean, understandable that parents always want to do something, sure, but at the same time, having you been around for so long, that parents, their role is not always to be in protecting you, but also been teaching you guys how to become as independent. Like, because one day they won't be around. They are teaching us how we can take care of ourselves. Like, say, how to pay bills, how to pay the like how to be using the money in the right way so that we don't overspend too much and that we can at least know how to cook easily fast food things of like or at least know how to be take care of our own hygiene, how to be take showers and brush teeth and all that, and at least also how to take care of laundry because who wants to walk around in like 2 weeks old clothes and if they're like even underwear and then like knowing you go to even to the store people are like, oh, what is that smell? And they probably like, and that means that would also ruin your social life. Your friends would like, oh no, I do not want to come over to your place. It smells like like a city dump, and you smell like a homeless hobo. And even if you had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they would not even want to even go near you. That's what it's like to have that where our parents are there is among many their duties are to in mind. I mean, of course, there this is another thing is that a lot of kids they're not growing, they are not being raised by the parents. Some of them actually being raised by the grandparents or even their uncle or aunt.
True, because
That
probably because their parents don't care about them
yeah,
anymore.
I mean, they could be for many reasons. Like, I mean, I have heard a lot of stories where um some some kids has been raised by their grandparents or the uncle because the parents was either the parents one of the parents like if there's the father or the mother was either in jail or a drug addict, a serious hard addict, a hardcore one, and or perhaps that the parent one of the parents had just left at this kid's early age and did not want to be a parent, which is also common things happen. I can understand
Yeah,
part from that. And having, I mean, if one of my parents never raised me, who else would have done it? Well, my dad's parents could probably have done it, but that's the thing. My dad's mom died in when I was just barely 2 years old, and my dad's dad, my grandfather, he died when I was barely 4 years old. And I didn't sure I did have my dad had some other relatives in my hometown, some cousins of his side of family, but we have barely more contact for no anything like that. I have an aunt. Well, an aunt that I don't think I ever actually met. At least, well, three aunts actually. My dad's side. Um, one lives in one town which I don't think I had never met. The second one, the oldest, she lives on near the west coast, and we have a decent contact with her. And there's a third one that lives in Spain, which we have no contact with whatsoever. Well, let's say after what she did that, she stole money from my grandmother's late boyfriend when he died, and from my parents. That's the reason, and it's not a small amount. I think it was maybe it's near to 2,500 for the most. So that is the reason
sorry
why
guys,
we don't have.
I'm in a frustrating time because the RAM, both of them fell out.
Oh, right. But like I said, as we have been taught by our parents, siblings, how to become as independent person. And heck, I didn't even learn how to bike ride on a tube without the support wheels until I was like 10, 11. That was my sister and my younger brother. And I'm not ashamed of that. The reason is why I because I was too scared to be even using without those. I mean, family are always around, no matter what. You can always hate parents, grandparents, or basically anyone, but sometimes that's a mood. That's a feeling that we always want. Like, I mean, I don't know if the game guy and his brothers ever had any serious argue with the parents or with each other. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I want to just feel like if like game guy and Roy had a serious argument about something, and that Roy wants to strangle his own brother, just or throw under the bus. I mean, as of anger feeling. I mean, that happens all the time. But at the same time, we would never even do it. We can always say it's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, but never do it. There's like sometimes when we are really angry, we lose the we lose the moral compass of our own mind. We can say things that we don't actually mean it. I had done
That's
that
true.
before. I mean, I had
Yeah,
said
we
to
could
my
say
parents,
things we regret.
yeah, I can say this. I have said to my dad a couple of times that at least I think it was at least two times that I don't belong to his family because I was really, really angry. I don't even remember what reason. And sure, did I regret it? Well, a while later, I did. I mean, it happens sometimes when I'm pissed at my mom or my dad. I just go up my stairs to my room and slam the door really hard that it can make frames on the wall just ping loose on the wall. But never,
Got one.
e- even though have never said I'm sorry or anything like that. But when you're angry, what can you do? Because when you're really pissed, your your clear-minded is all out of the window. It's like you cannot really thinking clearly until like afterwards when you realize your what you did. No matter what happens, and like I said, my parents said they can kick me out of the house at any time. They don't have the obligation to keep me here. And I even mentioned if I said to them that I'm too lazy, I don't want to do that, and it's like, what was the reason? Too lazy. I mean, if my mom says, "Well, he's too lazy," I was like, "Yeah, I'm too lazy," or you just don't feel for it. It's like if my mom asked me to take the dog out for a walk. Sometimes I do it, but sometimes I don't. No, I want to do it, and they ask why, but they never actually give any good reason because there are no reason. Maybe just simply I just don't want to do it. But what can you do? I mean, especially now with my mom had some surgery for her foot 3 weeks before Christmas, and that she had to been walking around with crutches, and after another 3 weeks afterwards, she had those stitches removed. Understandable at that she's unable to do much things at home, and that my dad and I are the only ones who can actually do things to help. And if I move out and I ask my parents for any help, and it's like they can still like, nope, I don't want to help you. You never actually helped us when we needed you. I mean, that's their things. That's their duty, their choice. And if I ask them for my other siblings' help, maybe.
Mm.
Sometimes I do regret things what I said and done. Sure. Do I regret from stealing from my parents? Well, yeah. Do I regret stealing from my siblings? Well, yeah. Do I regret from hurting my siblings? Yeah. Do I regret from stealing from the store? Yeah, at least from that. Do I regret from set the house on fire? Which I never did.
Thank goodness you never did.
But do I regret from do all the things? Well, sure. I mean, as a kid, we don't know what exactly was wrong and right, or right and wrong. It's like I mean, if you take money from your own siblings, I mean, I was one because I got caught red-handed. I had stolen money from my dad. I actually took some a small coin, as a couple of coins, went to the convenience store nearby, bought some candy. I couldn't be more like what, maybe as 8 or 9. I was like, and I get home, my parents saw me, saw the candy I had. They asked me where I did even get the money. I mean, I didn't have my allowance yet, and I was like, my dad's money, and they were both pissed. I was like, if I was smart, if I were older, I would have been smart enough to have been eat up the candy and then return home without any evidence. I was like 8 or 9. I wasn't even smart enough to even think of that at the time. And things are always like that. I'm sure you guys have done something that you really regret. Like if he has stolen things from family or friends, or do I stole from friends? Sure,
No, I've
sure
never
thing.
stole anything.
I mean, do I have stole from friends? Yep, yep, I have once. Well, twice. Um, there were one time I stole. I think it was a 20 bill from an old classmate, and I even stole some small Pokemon figurines from another close friend of mine. Do I regret it? Yeah. And did I ever apologize to them for that? No, I never did. And even if I would do it now, sure, but that was a long time ago. That was over 20 years ago. I mean, do I regret stealing money from a friend? Do I regret from stealing some Pokemon figurines from another friend of mine? Yes. And it's just that. But I was just a kid, and I didn't even know what was wrong or right. I couldn't even. I was still like, when I stole some Pokemon figurines from an old friend of mine, I could not have been more than like 7 or 8. And I even stole money from my parents, and I stole even a magazine from the store. Even I was not intentionally, I was more like maybe as 10 or 11, or maybe 12. I don't exactly remember exactly. But stealing things from other people, sure. But some of the most things I probably could be considered as one of the worst is when I stole some matches from the chemistry class. I went to the class bathroom and set that on fire. Well, I mean, I put a lot of paper in the toilet and put that on fire, and I was caught red-handed right afterwards. I was banned from the chemistry class entirely. And do I regret that? Probably, yeah. But the things that things aren't that something sometimes we can't regret it. Or if if there were something I could go back in time to change it, sure. But things sometimes are as it is. We don't learn from our mistakes. If we don't do any mistakes, how will we know what's wrong or right? I mean, as simple as that. Um. Anyways, let's talk about something else. That a little bit more depressed. So what you guys been up to today, though?
I've been trying to get my tower set up, my monitor, everything.
Hmm.
I've been busy like a man. And I have a cat in my room.
a cat in your room?
Yeah, I'm in a new house home.
Huh. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't like that place I was at.
hmm. So what about you, the brothers? What you guys been up to?
Well, I've been packing.
Right, you're going back to UK.
Yes, yes, I am.
Back to other
I'm gonna
insane
miss you.
people. Well, to be fair, Dashi, um, even if this is something that has happened only once, um, when I was doing a Pokemon stream, someone like the missing number as a person showed up. Turns out it was Dylan the whole time. But the reason why he never talked much is because someone had a party, um, like his neighbor or something like that, and that was the
Oh,
reason
yes,
he wasn't still
yes,
here.
I remember that. Thank God they're so bloody loud.
Yeah, I mean, we never even imagined this. I mean, never expected it was you were the whole time. I mean, Stormy, when he played us TikTok, I was like, oh boy, is his back as missing number? Oh man, but
No,
it wasn't.
I'm much better than Stormy. Oh, gee. Alright. Well, am I wrong? No, no. No, you're not.
No, Roy is even worse than Stormy.
No, I'm better, don't worry.
Yeah, Dashy sometimes can be a complete maniac.
Hey.
Between the all of us, we're all better than Stormy.
I agree. My IQ could be better than Storm.
Did you say between the all of us? Yeah. Oh my god, that's kind of brilliant.
Well, at least among the people that has so far never been a complete idiot of themselves is Cody Darkox, who else? Godzilla 2000 and his brother Europa Gamer, um, Malachite, who else? Um, well, Game Guy's favorite person, Packers fan.
Hmm. I'm willing to patch that up.
I mean, he has never been. I mean, he has never been like that. But the only one I can consider on. Sometimes I may wonder if he's even completely sane. Polarizer.
Kovo.
Oh yeah, probably Kubo.
I honestly thought you were gonna say Kovo for a second.
Well, here's my second option. I mean, considering for a lot of things that has been happening, like at the time when Stormy said that he wanted me to delete every single stream that he was in that he showed himself in it because that he never actually had that we never or at least I never had his permission of using that. But the thing is, he starts showing himself in those streams without saying it. He never mentioned that he was going to do it. And I never said or even asked or to demanded him to do it.
None
If
of us did.
anyone wants to show, because if anyone wants to show themselves in the stream, that's up to them. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Dashi has shown himself a couple of times. Malakat showed himself without anyone even noticed. I mean, Diana, she also showed herself a couple of times before at the time. Even we, I mean, okay, that we asked her if we could see her, but we understood if she didn't want to do it because she was shy. But eventually, she had enough courage and she did it, and that's fine. I had shown myself from time to time, and I'm not afraid or shy to do that. It's just after any as individual person. And like I said before, even yesterday in Kubo's stream, I don't think it was she's no longer around anymore. Um, that in the beginning, all the people suspected that Game Guy and Roy were the same person, including Dylan, because we never saw them. And that's fine if the people suspect that they don't believe all of that. It's up to them to believe or not. And even so, like I mentioned yesterday, that one time when he did last fall, when they were going to this apple picking, and his and game guy said that he was in car with his mom and Roy in the back seat sleeping, which and for perfectly fine. I can't sleep in a car, not even back seat or in the front passenger seat at all, never. And it's a miracle if that happens, but he said that he was in the car, and I was at his stream at the time, and he came back on the phone edition, and he was showing himself by accident. But even a brief second, I could actually see that he was in a car, so that was true in that. And I mean, among many people, I never actually, at the first beginning, I never believed that Roy, Dylan, and Kyle or Game Guy was two separate people or three separate people. I was like, they're the same people, the same person. That Game Guy was just using a British accent, which is not that difficult for people to fake an accent. But after over time, I actually started believing that they were not the same people or the same person. And it's a lot of people can understand why. Even that people probably like. Look, I want not to be suspect that people suspect that I was not the one behind the scene as they never perhaps not seen me because for a like reason. How often do I show myself? Not often. Is there any reason why I don't show myself? No. There is no reason I don't show myself. I just sometimes because I'm not afraid to show myself. I'm not shy or anything. I've done it before. It's just I don't actually never feel I have to do it. I mean, if we were to have to doing this type of and if we were to doing like face reveal, everyone has got to show their face in the stream. Okay? I mean Kubu. He showed himself once. And Dashian showed himself. I think is okay. I don't even remember exactly how many times, but at least around 10 times. Game Guy twice, but those times are can you never find on my channel because they're gone. And even if I like this, even if it was just me, Game Guy, Roy, and Dylan in After Stream, and if I asked them so I can actually see there have been real people, and if they all said no, and Roy has been said that he's not comfortable being showing himself, not even in an actor stream or in an actual stream or even a photo, and I accept that. Everyone has their comfortable zones. And I'm not forcing anyone to do what they don't want to. It's like if I say, Game Guy, can you do it like this for your on your own? Make this prank on your mom, and like he's like, okay, I can do it, but then he asks for type of prank, and it's like something like say pushing those maybe put something that under beneath her chair or maybe something that could give her a light scare. Sure, he could have probably had to do it, but as long as it's not like if that's something that would give her a such shock that could give her a heart attack. Considering now that both of their parents in their 50s, and as they're in that age range, also give a higher risk to have a heart attack easier. And that is one thing I don't want to have happen. I mean, if like say if he would put something like one of those fake ice cubes that contained either a spider or a fly. That's something like, oh yeah, can you get? By the way, can you like say if your mom having asked you for make something for the drink and put those fake ice cubes in it, and she like, ew, like that type of prank is harmless. I know at least that. I mean, if I had asked him or Roy to do a prank on their parents, or even on their own brothers, there are always lines in things which they were not to do. There's always a fine line that I don't want to cross, or they didn't want to cross. It's like I
There
said,
is.
yeah. I mean, like I don't want to have to say.
Because I'm referring to
I
the
mean,
fact that you're talking to the guy who does legendary April 1st day pranks.
well, I
That's
mean,
me.
okay. First of all, that's may is true, but there's always a line on what type of pranks and
Yeah,
jokes.
exactly. I mean,
And like it's you remember the time with Deanna and Crystal was supposed to be doing that type of
Hey,
prank. That is one
uh,
okay,
prank I would not. Yeah,
guys, I may
and
be out for a little bit. I may rejoin the stream if you guys are on again, but let me know if you're gonna do the after stream thing. I don't think with Malachite, but he probably left. Um,
that's
I have 4 beeps. My computer tower is beeping 4 times, so I'm gonna have to use my phone, which is brand new and better service, so I can
all
stay
right.
in contact with you guys.
hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up the 4 beeps, what it means, because I've actually seen a video of Linus Tech and someone else competing against each other to build a computer. One of them got 4 or more beeps, and 4 beeps means something minor. So I don't know.
All right.
I'm gonna have to leave, but if I rejoin, that means I fixed it.
All right.
See you for now, though.
Yep. But like I said, that when it comes to like pranks with you guys, I know that they're always a line and things that you don't want to joke around with. Like say, if I say do something, let's say do something on your mom or your dad, and it's like okay, that makes perfectly fine. But if this like has this, what if the like that joke or the prank backfire big time, and that say if your parents end up in such shock and have a heart attack, and at the a 50-50 chance like they end up in hospital but staying there for overnight or the worst case like rest in peace mom, like that type of prank. I mean even that we okay, I mean that depends on what type of prank it joke or at least a prank it is. If there is a risk of knowing that your mom probably have a scare or your dad and it have it end up with a heart attack, that would be my blame, not yours. And of course, if I should suggest something like that, of a sort of prank, and then it's always you guys to say yes or no. If it is like a small, easy, innocent prank to put, like say, putting a lot of those fake ice cube in a drink, perfectly fine. Or those, what is it called? Those things you put under a pillow that makes the fart sounds again. I don't.
That'd be a whoopee
Uh,
cushion.
yeah, that was. Those are completely harmless. That's if I said suggest maybe that as a put that on your mom's share if she's gonna eat for breakfast or and it's like and you guys sitting next to around that's like oh mom what did you eat? I mean okay that's a harmless prank but as long as the pranks that give it doesn't even get too far. Like I said I don't want to be responsible perpetrator either your parents or both in in a hospital or have them have a heart attack and they pass away of it. That is one thing I don't want to happen. I mean, I don't want to have that on my conscience. Even if it was just like a simple prank, but it turned out to have a backfire. And it's like, even if that happened, like if I ask Game Guy to do it, and his brothers are not aware of that type of prank can happen, and when they find out that your mom ended up in a hospital, and you get and like Roy is like he probably would be terrified, ask you like, what the hell did you do that for? And he's like, well, Switch told me to do it, and Roy would like he freak out and yell at me, and I would like, and I wouldn't have been aware of that happened until like after, and I was like telling you that I was okay, Roy, calm down. That was not the that was not supposed to happen in the prank. I was like, the prank was supposed to give your mom a light scare, not because I was not okay. And but it can also be like this. I mean, it is possible also that if that did happen at your mom or your dad have a heart attack because of a light scare prank, who knows? Maybe that. I mean, what if that you were could have been completely unaware that either your parents could have this heart condition that makes it easy for them to have, as in their older age, have such stress on their heart could, a shock on the heart could give them a heart attack. I mean, that happens. Like, okay, this is not happened to me personally, but happened to my brother. Was well, not to him directly, but this was not a prank though. But during a soccer game, his one of his teammates had the ball hit him right in the chest, and he collapsed backwards on the ground. When people rushed up to him, he was dead. He was dead. Stone cold. They later discovered that he had undiscovered heart condition. If they knew that he had this type of heart condition, he would not have played. He would not have been allowed to play soccer. If that happens to anything, I mean, like if your dad or your mom had that undiscovered, or they were completely unaware of that they even had a heart condition that could be genetically, and that having such scare of someone and put them in this type of shock, it could be a stress on the heart and lead to heart attack. And I can understand if you guys have been like, or at least that Roy freaked out until flipped out of me, telling me that my prank put my mom in a hospital, and then the doctors like there were 10 or 15% chance that she may not survive. I would have been devastated that had happened. I mean, even like I could not. But even though that they later discovered that your mom has a heart condition that none of you were not even aware of, so that would have not been, and even if your mom may not had even been had aware of that condition either. I mean, what if like that? If that happened, that if your mom had a condition that neither she or you or even your dad was aware of, and that, and even though like, so a simple prank could have happened, and in a way, even if your mom would have survived from it, it's also a miracle, because if that had happened, like if you were doing something as scary and your mom did end up in hospital, and that they treat her for this heart condition, and if there were no mention of that in her medical records of any heart condition or anything, like it's like doing it on not on purpose, but also at the same time, it saved your mom's life, because in the future the doctors can easily treat that condition with either a pacemaker or maybe a minor heart surgery or something, and that itself could have saved your mom's life if that happens, because sometimes, like I mentioned about my brother's former friend, when he hit his parents, they were not even aware that their own son had this heart condition, because when the ball hit his chest, he died immediately, because It shocked his body and it stopped his heart. If his parents was have been aware of his heart condition, they would not have had allowed him to play unless that they had something to fix that. And it's like my sister's older daughter. She's 12, and she was doctors said that to her that she may not even survive at all because it turned out she was born with a hole in her heart, and she would have to been doing surgery in order to fix the problem for throughout her life. And I mean, like, if I told Game Guy to do this prank on your mom, and it turns out she ended up having such hard shock in her heart, and that, or like that. I mean, this happens all the time when that people can be completely unaware of any heart conditions or anything. I mean, sometimes people can be born with a rare genetic condition that's something that like one in a like in the chance of 1 or 10 million chances that this condition happened. Like say if in your family, like you game guy, you Roy, and your dad has not this condition, but your mom is could have been 50-50 chance that this could be, and it turns out that Dylan is the only one in your family has this condition. And even though that you may wonder, like, when he finds out about it, that he probably is curious to know what this, and he also is worried if this could have been a life-threatening condition. But if he finds out this is not a life-threatening condition at all, but is could affect his maybe in his not like motor skills in his hands or anything, but it could affect his sleep cycle. Like say if he could have suddenly one day have this insomniac. Like one night he suddenly lays awake or goes to sleep, but is awake the whole night, and that he can be awake for say 2 or 3 days straight without any sleep, and that can actually though sometimes happens. But luckily for medicine today, there's all for the most part a treatment. And like if like your parents would have any like say if heart attacks is common input in your family, like say if you go back 80 years ago, there probably not much treatment for those. Pacemakers wasn't even a thing. But now, if something would happen, and like as your brother told me that both your parents have dementia, well, it's light dementia, and that's but here's actually the good part. There is medicine. Well, not entirely cure, but there are medicine that can slow it down in development, which is a good thing.
Really?
Good. Well, I mean, there is always like Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's, there's no cure at all of it. But it's always like HIV. There is no cure for that or AIDS. But there is medicine that when you if you did have get HIV, there is always a medicine that can help slow down the process, prevent it much too from developing the full scale AIDS. And that's the same thing for cancer. Well, certain type of cancers there is cure. Like there is a vaccine for one type of cancer so far that I know of. That what is it? Urinary cancer that for women. That's a cure. That's a vaccine for that. But other type of cancers there is no. But there's always other treatment, like radiation. Others they can be treated. HIV, like I said, there is those like there's it slowed down the process, not maybe entirely, but there's those type of medicine that can slow down at least the process significantly. But after time, that medicine may not have much effect anymore because, like many other type of medicine or medicine in the world, sometimes a body adapts to that type of medicine. When if you continue to take the medicine, despite not being aware of that your body has built up a defense against it. Like say, if you have say if you have HIV, if you have it and you have been taking a certain medicine that will slow down the process, but after a while, after having taken that type of medicine for say 5 to 6 years or so, and suddenly the medicine is completely useless. Your body has built up antibodies to protect against it, and that your doctor may have developed and find out that you may start feeling a little bit more worse, and that the blood counts that makes that because there is always this from I heard that the white blood cells that's the ones who fight against common virus or the diseases like even a common cold or the flu. There's always a risk for if that count goes higher, I believe it is, there is an indication that your the medicine you've been taking at least is not working, and that sometimes you can get some other another a new type of medicine. But that's the case of that. There's always a downside of that. Despite sometimes it happens that if a person gets HIV and that they are being told no matter what type of medicine there is, it won't have much effect. Sometimes it depends on the type of strain of HIV virus. Sometimes there is some ones that are too mutated. That means no current medicine treatment won't have much effect at all, and that is true. In but there is in fact a lot of treatments for HIV now these days. But so at the moment there are no non-cure for that. But there is another disease, illness that's actually it did affected a baseball player, Lou Gehrig disease. Um, I think it is let me see if I will. Um, there was this type of yeah, he was a baseball player and he has what was it? Yeah, here we go. Uh, Lou Gehrig disease. Yeah, ALSS is is a disease that has no cure to at all. Often people when you get that, like you eventually would start losing motor skills in your hands, your arms, and you won't be able to speak anymore. You'll be like a prisoner in your own mind. You can still maybe communicate with blinking with your eyes or something like that, but otherwise you cannot even move a single muscle. Even you want to move your hand, like say waving or point, you won't be able to do that. Of the people who get that type of uh, the disease, they usually don't live more than 5, 10, maybe it's 5 or 8 years after they full scale paralyzed. But there's only one man so far who have defeated that record. He started developing his condition at a young age. I believe it was maybe um, I think it was in his mid 20s to early 30s when he started having this condition. But he was able to talk through a computer screen, and he had this condition for 55 years. The late astrophysics Stephen Hawking, He had that condition for 55 years, and I don't know if he was given treatment for anything. There is, there is this other type of treatment, stem cells, like meaning as those cells are unchangeable. Like say from fetus, an unborn baby that's which when it's in development, it produces stem cells. Like that type of cells that people have been some scientists have thought be using those cells into rewrite their genetic profile in order to find the cure. Like inject some of these stem cells into a person which has been modified enough to say if a person even a woman in her like MS, you know what it is, right?
Um,
This the MS is the disease that's affecting the skeletons, the bones, I think. Or okay, some people have been hoping to could use stem cells research into cure someone's blindness or someone from have that's or is going to be paralyzed but having that into the body and cure it completely. There is one man who actually were hoping to have a new body, I believe around 2017 or 18. He had a rare condition that makes his entire body to withered away, literally. Like he is unable to move. But this Italian doctor has said that he was going to perform a type of surgery that will take at least I think 100 hours or so, or there was a number of hours, and that they were going to cut off the head of the man's body and transplant it to a new body. And that, but some experts, medical experts, says that's impossible. For instance, to prepare those nerves into each other next to another one, it's very difficult. This very dedicated, very a little bit difficult because nerves are very thin and they are very sensitive. But even if they manage to do that, there's always a 50-50 chance the body would reject the head. Even if they manage to have this man being able to move his hands or walking, then it's like it's the very same thing as when you get a new transplant, for example. There is always a risk the body will reject that. The same thing is like if they manage to put a man's head on a new body, but there's always I should know there's one thing. The body can't be the head can't be without oxygen for not more than 6 minutes. Because if it's more than like 10 minutes, the man will be completely brain dead. Because the brain needs oxygen even after like 6 minutes. That's the problem. And I mean, having okay, I read this story in an article many years ago. A man after he lost both of his arms in a harvest machine accident, and another man who had died sometimes later after that, they took that deceased man's arms to this armless man and attached his arms. After intense rehabilitation work, that man had, I think it was between 90 and 95% motor skills back in his arms again. That is a very, very indicated how very dedicated doctors can actually do. There was another case. A man were in a fire, and his entire face was basically melted away. But he has a new face. a lot of people that had recently died donated some of their like eye lashes, lenses here, ears, even new lips, and he had a new face. There were one case a woman actually had part of her face bitten off by a dog, but she had a new face that was 3D printed. I think it was made of fiber. I think it was fiber, carpet fiber plate as part of that face, which is incredible. But unfortunately, these days, when it comes to science, most people think now with this advanced medical science that we have, there's always a cure for every single disease. But the fact is, we don't. There's always some illness that we have no cure for. But there's a reason for that. Some illness are so rare. There's some there are a few rare conditions that I mean, like I said, they are so rare that maybe one in 1 billion people in the world could have that condition. So rare it could be. Some conditions are really common. They can be from 1 to 10, or maybe 1 or 100 people can have that condition. But some are so extremely rare. It can be from 1 billion or even 1 to 10 billion people. So rare it can actually be. So like you may think if there's a cure for that treatment, maybe not. But like I said, some conditions can be so rare, and it's like almost like unheard of. Like Alzheimer's, many people think that there is a cure. Unfortunately, there isn't. But a treatment, not much as we think hope there is. But there is an intense research into that right at the moment. They have made some small progress in the development of a cure for Alzheimer's. But even if they manage to find a perfect 100% working cure, then it is up to medical clinical trials. If a person can find a cure for, and if people would have been either early or even a mid start of an Alzheimer's condition have been put in this trial and also showing perfectly fine. I like all traces of Alzheimer's completely gone. But then, if this would happen in the US, and even if all trials show like 99.9% improvement, like Alzheimer's treatment completely gone. But then it is up to one organization, FDA, to approve it to being released to every single hospital. If the FDA decides not to approve that Alzheimer's cure, then people who've been hearing about this treatment had hoped that someone they have a friend like a dad, mom, sister, brother, or uncle, or a grandparent could have Alzheimer's, and when they heard of this cure, had this great potential, having curing every single other people that also have been tested. But the FDA decided not to approve it. That would have been the devastating effect. I can say this. There is actually a movie, I Am Legend, with Will Smith. The word is cure cancer. And let's say it had pretty much a bad side effect. Some people who had it, they started to mutate. Quite literally, in fact. They started to change, started to bleeding from the eyes, and eventually they became pale, like like dead pale white, like if you're about being like a living ghost, like a almost vampire pale, so like that.
Yes, the time for Kyle's been like that.
Yeah, and this disease made them losing ability to speak. They became, as many people, I think they were called, I think they believe be called, I think they were known as night walkers. I believe that they were called night walkers. They could only be out in night because their bodies could stand any intense light, light like UV lights or sunlight. They showed like this classical science of um, vampires. There were in the movie at the time. There were around 6 billion people, and of course there were like many people that had a natural immunity against this medicine. I mean, there were a lot of people who did receive this medicine, and a lot of those people didn't change. They were in fact cured. But this happened, this trial took place uh, at least the movie took place in New York. They decided, with the outbreak of this new, the Night Walkers, they decided to blow up every single bridge into Manhattan to insulate it. But unfortunately, it didn't happen much. It started to spread across the world. From 6 billion, there were maybe as 2 billion people that was naturally immune. But those 2 billion, the numbers dropped from 2 billion to zero. And then, as Will Smith, he was played by the scientist Robert Neville, hoping to find a cure for this condition. And he did near the end, actually. But he had to sacrifice himself. And in fact, he was bitten maybe a few times by those night walkers, but he never changed because he was among those many. Well, at the time, one of the few immune to this new virus. In the end, a young woman came from, I believe from South Central America. I believe like Mexico or something. He traveled with a boy, but that was not her son or nephew. He was not even related to that boy. But he was another survivor, and um, she couldn't just leave him. So she brought him with him, and she had been hearing Robert's constant message over radio, hoping to find any other survivors. And she told him that there were this survivor colony in Vermont. But he stated there were no such colony, there were no quarantine zones anymore, any more survivors because the humanity, in his words, was screwed. The humanity was dead. But she believed. But in the end, he gave her a vial that contained one of those. He had been taking rats to do this type of research to find the cure. Unfortunately, a lot of rats died. A lot of rats became violent, but some started to show cured. Then he started with human trials, and he took night walkers because they were the ones who was being affected the most. He took maybe, I think it's 12 or even 20. Only one showed cured. But the others, well, they died. Other became, I tried to make this not to give any much nightmare fuel here, but it sort of looked like they have been burned. But in the end, he gave this young woman and the boy the cure, and they traveled all the way to the supposed survivor colony, and it did exist. This happened. I believe the cure was in this virus, or this supposed cancer cure was made in the year 2007. And I believe this story took place later when I think it was 2008. There is an ultimate ending of that in the movies also, where Robert did survive, and he went with this young woman to the place, and he literally throughout the entire movie he traveled through town. He talked to mannequins, which he had put up in different occasions, like a video store or grocery store, to try to talk to them as normal. And he even went to one of those. I believe it was one of the big aircraft carriers in the harbor and played golf. Literally, he was the only person in the whole New York, except for the Nightwalkers. Oh, looky, he's here. What happened, dude? Problems with your Wi-Fi? Or your mom brother need help or something?
No, it was the other one.
Yeah, but yeah, but like I said, having this Will Smith playing as a scientist dedicated himself near the end to find a cure for this so-called um, vaccine that was supposed to cure cancer a year earlier. It kind of backfired because some people reacted badly to it, and I believe that they actually made a comic book series based on that one. It's kind of like The Walking Dead in a way. I mean, those zombies were also referred as walkers. That was kind of weird. They never actually explained where that type of zombie outbreak even started. I mean, besides one of the creators for the entire franchise, he put on Twitter like there was maybe space spores, meaning some like an alien fungi that somehow came to Earth and boom caused this outbreak. Um, which wasn't true though. Which it wasn't true. Turned out it was a French company, a bio company that was once behind. Go to figures. I believe that they were doing it some sort of bioweapon research. Pretty much. And another thing, every character in The Walking Dead that was alive, they had that suppose that were causing everyone to turn to those walkers. If you died, you would have been reanimated, became a walker, no matter what. Apparently, there was a scientist from CDC, I believe in Atlanta, or was it something like that? He whispered to this character named Rick that every one of those people had it, even they were not aware of it at all.
Whoa!
Even his, even
What the
even
heck
his,
just happened? Ah.
even though his own son he was bitten by those walkers. And normally, when the people being bitten by those walkers, they usually turn quite quickly. So he used a handgun and bang, kill himself before he could be turned. Which kind of, I believe, it was kind of the best option to be considering that. And one of the bad guys in this series, he is literally have been walking around with a baseball bat with nails sticking out of it. I think his name was Negan, or I don't know how to pronounce. If some people watching this saying that was not his name, or if um, I'm not saying the N word, but his name was Negan. N-A, was it Neagan, if I pronounce it right. I believe that was his character's name. They even made a comic book series of this as well, but I can tell this. It was not even remotely like from this actual show. There were planned to be 3 movies of Rick as one of the main characters, but that idea had been scrapped, cancelled, in other words. There were actually one group of survivors. I believe that they call themselves Civic Republic in the former of New York with over 200,000 survivors. That was the biggest colony of survivors in the entire series so far. But that's kind of a little bit weird. I never much a big fan of zombie movies or shows. Okay, there's one zombie movie I saw maybe twice. Warm Bodies, which is called. Well, let's say this one was pretty weird. The zombies, if they ate a human's brain, they will somehow gain access to that person's memories, and they could somehow. It was like they knew exactly about the person, but I don't think they never explained what happened this outbreak in the first place. But there was only one of those male teenager zombie named R. He um, he actually saved a young girl. I believe her name was Julia. And this were at least one thing that she was not happy that when she was kind of strange to find out this R was not unlike the other zombies. Because if her father would have found out about this, he would have killed him. Because he was a colonel in the survivor colony in that city. Well, let's say in the end, R started to change. He, well, let's say he started to become more alive again, which kind of a little bit strange. In the end, Julia's father, the colonel, shot R when he fell to this fountain and saw that was bleed. Even she tried to convince him for before then that he was normal, that he was alive again. And the other zombies that were some of our close friends, that he called them, they actually helped the the survivors to fight off another type of group of um, zombies, but they were in a way worse condition. They were called bones. They were literally walking skin and bones. There were no things that could actually save them. They were beyond help. But in the end, the world was saved, and those former zombies had to return back as humans again. In a way, the concept idea is pretty weird. I mean, based on other zombie movies like The Walking Dead, those humans turning into zombies, attacking other humans, being turned them to zombies or eating them, and having this supposed to be a romance comedy movie where zombies could turn back to humans again. Why? Like, the idea is very strange, but also very ridiculous. Tailbone.
He basically
Wait.
fell on his ass.
Wait, isn't that the bone there? Well, near the ass, by the end of
Yeah.
the spine. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oof, oof, that hurts.
Tell me about it.
Well, I think maybe one of your brothers maybe had to get an ice pack for you and stay on the ice. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. You were sitting on the yoga ball, were you?
No, I was walking towards some. I was getting the door, and then I walked, and I thought I could just like. And then I turned around, and then I just fell, like an idiot.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, okay, the only ones that I would consider as a big idiot among our friends is probably Cody, the dog hog. He is probably number one.
Crack ass.
Yeah, and number two. Ooh, well, that's can be a
Kovu.
little bit probably number two and number three. Not game guy because that was what he did. It's not even close to that, but I don't can't figure out if it's number three, but of those of the people that's complete jackass of themselves, number one, Kuvu, number two, Cody, number three, Malachite.
Oi!
Well, this is not number one. uh, yeah, but this is. I mean, I haven't really heard much of any others for the past few days.
Jay good though. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Don't sit there thinking hard because it will only make the pain worse.
Don't worry about it. He's laying down on the bed, so he literally isn't even sitting down.
Okay, how would you guys, if anyone said laying on a nail bed?
No. I'd rather not be impaled today.
No, I mean,
Or any day.
no, I mean not the actual nails, not actual nails.
Well, when you say nail bed, the first thing that comes to mind is nails.
Well, I mean, this is something that has more modern version of this. Like, it's like a mat, a small rug mat, maybe it's 1-2 feet long, and it usually is. Well, my dad has this. Is like a. They're made of plastic. They're circle shaped and has. I believe there's only supposed to be like a spike, like a plastic spike, in like four, like in a square shape, and then another one in the middle. This this is actually something that is good to be using because lay on those, you can only like it laying for maybe just 5 or 10 minutes at max. I believe it's supposed to be helping the pain in the back. But an old classmate of mine, not the same what I was talking about earlier, but he actually made his rail. He put a small piece of wood and took really big nails, metal nails, and he put them very close to each other. I mean, I would guess maybe 1 or 2 inch between each, and he laid on it, and he didn't feel much of pain at all. Maybe a little bit some like light pinch in the back. That's something. But if those, okay, I can say this: if the nails were just maybe just 1 or 2 inch apart, that's completely harmless. But if the nails were like say 4 or maybe it's 5 inches apart, inch gap between each one, and that can be more dangerous because the closer they are, the weight is equal out entirely because the pressure is equally pressured out. But if there's this big gap between each, like say, or what if it's like 10 inches a gap between each nail? That is not what I would not recommend. But I actually tried one of those that like my dad has that are made of plastic, and then those nails they aren't even that big. They're maybe just 1 inch tall. And this one is like a yoga mat size. You can just roll it up and put it back. But the thing is, you can't lay on it too long because um it could become almost useless at the same time. But I think my dad said when after he used it the first time, he felt warm on his back. Not a bad way because it had this kind of I believe this kind of good way. I believe, but yeah, I mean like this. Some people in India they can literally been sitting on like those like my friend has with actual nails sitting on it, but like they can be like sitting in just in with the legs crossed without pants, like they can have the skin directly towards all the nails, sitting on it like we are sitting on a pillow without feeling it. Some people can even do that all the time. It's like walking on glowing coal. I mean, people have been doing that for centuries, actually. If anyone dare you guys to swallow um, fire or those having something fire lit in front of you and have something in your mouth and you spit out, make it like like a dragon flame out. Would you do it?
Hmm?
Seriously, I have to retake that again. Um, if anyone dare you to have having a torch in front of you and have some sort of liquid that burns, if you like spit it out towards the fire, you know what I mean? Would you do it?
Um, no.
I would. I mean, I heard it. If you're not professional trained, well, it could burn your mouth, your throat badly. I think. Have you seen those people swallow swords?
Yeah, I've seen them.
That is another thing that you don't should mess around with because if you are not professional or not even trained, oh boy, I can tell you, dude, you're screwed. That's the reason other, and that is actually it's a professionalist occupation that's is kind of dying out because there are not much people out there who do that type of things, mostly in carnivals or it's like the professional occupation that like Jeff Dunham doing. That is also a professional work that's also is kind of slowing out, a bit dying out as a occupation. Not many people doing it. It's like a lot of professional jobs that we mankind had from us since the medieval times until like the modern times. A lot of those professionals not exist anymore. I can tell one thing. What is all of that? Come on. I saw this in a magazine I got for New Year, Christmas. What was it? There was this type of job list of. Oh, here we go. Night guard. During the like medieval times, it was this before we had police. Um, they were usually a man that usually walk around on the streets like carry. He usually sang a song each hour. There were people would know what the time was and that he was using his duty. But also, the first night guards were usually ordinary citizens who had other occupation daytime, but they took turn to keep watch. First, in the 1600s, the night guard became a full-time job. The schedules could consist of different, like warn people of fires, look after burglars or intruders, and lock in um drunks, and also keep the 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 oil lamps in town lit at night. But there's another type, but they were usually not carrying any particular weapons. But there were one that what came gave the weapon respect among drunks and burglars, the Morning Star, which basically was um I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is actually, but in England, the night guard usually had a staff. Germany, something had called a Hilderbard, which I have no idea what it is. But in Sweden, the night guard could have been could have been equipped with a club, a spike club, and having that on your head. Woo! Well, I would say bye bye. You will not be missed. Yeah, that was like, and I also find out um, that people. How about you say if anyone, a white person, if a German, or one of Hitler's officers, generals, if people paint himself dark like a African American in face, what do you think he will do with the general?
Hmm.
More likely to be kill him. But there was only one person that was could do it without feeling any repetitions of from Hitler. Eva Braun. In fact, there is a skull in Russia, in Moscow, said to be Hitler's skull with a bullet hole in it. But it isn't Hitler's skull whatsoever. Turns out it was a woman's skull. There, since there's only one thing that they could have probably ruled out is Eva Braun had only one living relative alive, which at least one so far I'm aware of. If they had matched her DNA with the skull DNA, Well, it could be matched, but it wasn't. She refused. Well, um, you probably have heard about Anastasia Romanov.
Yeah.
Well, did you think that she could have survived the massacre of the rest of the family?
Um, it's been a while since I've heard of her, so I don't know.
Well, it is a no, because since her father stepped down or abdicated from the throne 1917, and only 1 year later, when the whole family was assassinated by the communist leaders, there were rumors that Anastasia, a 17-year-old, along with her youngest brother, well, only brother, Alexei, survived. That they were wearing jewelry as some sort of like a protection vest, but it didn't. And throughout the years after this supposed happened, no one actually knew what happened to the Romanov family, well, the Russian royal family, until like I think it was in 1989 when it became public. There were rumors. Several women came forward, claimed they were Anastasia. Since no one actually didn't know what happened to the royal family except
We just want to go at the time we said.
Uh we better handle this.
so basically there was only one woman in Germany, 1920s, named Anna Anderson, claimed that she were Anastasia. A lot of people believe that she was actually her. Unfortunately, people she withstood her claim until her death in 1984, when some experts took her DNA to compare some of the Romanov family's living relatives, but it wasn't a match, not even so close at all. Turns out she was not Anastasia. But it wasn't like in the early 2000s, I believe it was 2007, when they actually found the rest. They found at least two remains in early 1990s, or in the early 1900s. I believe it's in the 1979, but it wasn't like the rest until I think 2007 when they found the two more remaining family members. It wasn't like until like 2 years after they were had been proven to be Anastasia and Alexei. So the whole family was assassinated in 1918. Oh boy. They could have at least have let the family go. Why would they have to murder the whole family? I don't know. I mean, it's like people didn't know. Even when Disney made their own version of the movie Anastasia in the late 90s, that was before they even knew if Anastasia was alive or not. Is that your mom in the background?
That's our cousin being annoying.
Let me guess. Teenager?
Teenage. Well, actually, she's older than Kyle, so no.
Ah, gotcha. Well, 2 hours already. Jeez. Luckily though, even if this would pass over my free plan use, not to be worried.
Speaking of Kyle,
Since
he's handling it right now, so.
yeah, my reset my StreamYard resets by tomorrow, give or take. So Dylan, how do you feel to go back to UK?
It's honestly a little. It's a little odd that I've stayed here for so long. I mean, this is certainly the longest I've stayed.
Yeah, it might be a while till next time you come back. Probably like summertime.
Yeah, they might keep you there.
Next time, well, I would suggest that won't be one person. Next time might be two people. Maybe that you could probably ask Melissa if she wants to join in with you to come over, see your family for first time. I mean, that's only an idea.
I don't know about that. She's not very comfortable leaving the UK.
Well, I mean, since your rest of your family had been in the UK before, hasn't it?
Well,
I mean,
Kyle hasn't.
well, how about this? If that, why don't your family going over to UK maybe this summer or maybe the fall to spend time with you in UK for about a week or so?
Oh god, we can never do that.
Why?
Does amnesiac parents ring a bell?
Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about the whole family.
And besides, isn't Dad getting Isn't he getting like what is it? Isn't he doing something like really, serious? I forget what it was. Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot about that. Jeez. That's right.
What?
He's getting a surgery.
For
Completely forgot about that.
what?
His legs have been messing with him a lot, so he has to get. So he
Wait.
gets.
Wait, did you say his spine?
I said his legs.
Oh, I thought you said his spine. Okay, that would have been worse. Well, I mean, why not just Kyle go over to UK?
I don't think he's comfortable leaving us. Well, me anyway.
I mean, okay, if your dad and your mom if they didn't have the dementia or at all, and that your dad not was going to through this surgery, then you and Kyle could go over to see Dylan in the UK.
I mean, yeah, but there's always ways for us to talk to him. It's just we can't do it right. We can't go over there in person right now.
Well, there is another way that's possible that you can actually meet Dylan's special lady, which is FaceTime.
Do we even have that set up?
I mean,
You'd have
that's
that style.
you could probably ask her if there's something that she will be comfortable with. After all, she is going to be staying that she isn't leaving in UK, and you will be with her, and that even though she might want to meet your family one day in person, sure, that's understandable. But having this FaceTime with her, with your rest of your parents, and with Roy and Kyle, seeing that as a first step.
I guess.
I mean, that could actually work. At least they can go to see her, how she looks like, and how she is a person. Yeah, even if despite you may have mentioned about a lot of bad things about her to your parents, but I mean, at least FaceTime this is something what you could do. I mean, I did that same thing, and when I was talking to my girlfriend's mom for the first time, I was kind of a bit nervous, but it went well. And I think have a FaceTime with Melissa and you back in UK, talk to the rest of your family back home, is something you could do. Because one day, if it's that serious, and if you two would perhaps even get married and have a family, that one day she may have to at least put enough courage and going over with you and the family to the US to spend time with the family there. I mean, if it's gonna be that long term serious.
Oh, great. Now this friggin' mic is being weird.
Oh, by the way, game guy, you're going over to UK this fall alone.
No, I'm not.
I was just messing around with you, dude.
I know.
But by the way, have you two even seen her? Otherwise,
You show what? You showed me that picture a while ago. Oh, yes, I did show you a picture. I forgot about that. You didn't show me. I didn't show you because I didn't want. I had to ask him, and he never even answered.
Question: how would you guys? How? Okay. Then how would you felt if, let's say, how like simple like how would you felt if Roy or Jake would have developed a crush on your girlfriend, even when they weren't even okay, like they were like have a crush on her, but knowing that they would even do anything even more than that? How would you feel like if they actually admitted that to you alone?
Well, it would have been a little awkward, but I would have gone over it fine.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, it's like okay, it's like say if game guy had or Kyle has a girlfriend, or if Roy had a very much hot girlfriend. Excuse for that. And that Kyle thinks that she is really gorgeous, even if she is like say only 22, 23 years old, only like sure only a few years younger than Roy, and he is like very much deeply in love with her as well. And that even though that she finds out and she feels that's very maybe awkward, but also not pleased. Takes it as a compliment that her boyfriend's younger brother likes her as well, but knowing that would not be possible. But if that happened, how would you feel that about that, Roy?
I mean, that is a definite what-if situation if I ever heard one.
Yeah, I mean, if it like happened, because you never know, things like that happens all the time.
Well, I'm more talking
Yeah.
about me getting the smoking hot girlfriend. That ain't happening. Oh, jeez. All right. I mean, I'm just being
Well,
boastful.
I mean, that is kind of like between Kyle and Crystal. It's not happening since he mentioned that she doesn't want them in that way.
I don't know how I feel about you saying that in the stream.
Whatever to come out eventually.
Yeah. Wait. What? You also never told me, so I didn't tell you because I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to. It's weird. Both of us don't have a girlfriend right now. We did. Well, I guess you did, and I never even got that working. So that's just great.
No worries. I can delete this one afterwards.
Nah, I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah, but I know this like though. I mean, I had probably 8 or 10 girlfriends over the years, but most of them never even last that long. I mean, okay, I know what it's like to be rejected
Uh,
because I mean, I was had a huge crush on a classmate of mine for about 11 years, and well, let's say it's kind of a long story, but I'm going to brief the as best I can. Um, I gave her notes telling her how I felt, and I never got much any response back from those, neither other notes from her, or she didn't tell me directly. But a year later, another friend of mine, she told me that the girl I was had a crush on still had those notes and that she was reading them from time to time. I was like, at least that she's had them and that maybe she was in love with me. Slight detail. At the time when I did give her those notes, she actually had a boyfriend at the time. But they weren't long. They weren't together for that long though. But then, but nothing happened. I was probably 14, 15 maybe when that happened. Um, I was maybe too shy to confess her directly to personally though. But nothing happened. So when I finished that, when I went to the last part of the years, the 4 years of my school, I had dated a few girls at the time, which one was one that one I was on and off, back and forward, maybe for I don't uh I think maybe 20 times. I don't know exactly. That lost count. Um, but then I found another girl, but we never did anything on spare time or free time since she lived way off. She lived in a different town, and her family was not even aware that we were even together at all. But then one day when I was after lunch, I was in the school library, and I don't remember exactly what I did, but I was on MSN at the time. There was the hot or this there was like Skype many years ago. If most of people don't know what it is, but anyway, I was just talking to the same friend who told me that the other girl I had a crush on who had the notes. I asked her if there was any reason why that this girl I liked never approached me or never told me. The reason is turned out she never actually had a crush on me, never. And that the reason why she never told me is because that she didn't want to hurt my feelings. I mean, sure, if she had told me when I was like 14 or 15, I would definitely would have been hurt, heartbreaking. I more likely also would have cried or something. I don't know. But when I was told from my other friend, I was probably around 17, and I was sure I was more understanding. I believe understood what the reason why she had told me. Still, I was hurt, but at least I understood the reason. And after that, I never told her or anything. Sure, I was in love with her for about part of a decade, but I actually never took the courage to even ask her directly. But it happens. And I was told that she never actually liked me the same way back, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, I understand if she never liked me the same way, then, and that she only preferred me as a friend. That's fine. That's part of life. And that, like you, Kyle, that you were being rejected by Crystal. That's it's part of life. I mean, if you get one rejection, that's not have to be necessarily meaning that you have to be ruining your confidence, because I mean, like it was Cypress. If he was in love with a girl, or at least had any interest in one girl, and he decided to ask her out, And if she tells him that she likes him, but only as a friend, and that he may have been felt a little bit hurt, but he understands, and that could probably maybe put him back a bit for to find another one. Like, I mean, like for example, like Dylan, and if he and Melissa have been together for quite some time, and if she decides to leave him, that she was no longer interested in him, he probably understand it. At least he in his around in his 30s, and he understands. He's probably would have been going through a lot of that before, being rejected by other girls, or some of the relationship never wasn't even lasted that long. And these kind of life. I mean, I for sort of my past relationships, they didn't lasted for a couple of weeks and maybe as a few months. The reason why most of them didn't last long is I wasn't inexperienced in dating and all that. And as one day you might find someone to be with. He's still young, and he might find someone at a gym. Who knows? I mean, I think that Kyle did mention that there were a girl at the gym that Roy was interested in, but I could be wrong.
Hey, you
Well, he
said
didn't say much.
you said we
He-
keep that a secret. Hmm.
Well, first of all, Roy, he said that there were this young girl that around your age that you were.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I mean that there was only that someone that you had talked to at a gym that you have a conversation with, but I don't think he actually meant by a direct feelings for her.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it was like it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's it.
mean.
Whatever. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe a small
you know,
crush, but oh
you
boy.
could always. Well, you could always try to ask her. I mean, Kyle wouldn't even have known until if he had asked Crystal, he wouldn't have known if she was not interested in him in that way at all. It is. I mean, okay, I know that Crystal, um, that Diana had a crush on me, but nothing is I'm much going to do anything about. I mean, I'm happily taken. Why would I jeopardize that because with someone else I barely know? Songbirds, are you still there? Or did you fall asleep again?
Mm. Hmm.
Yep, he is asleep.
No,
As
I'm
usual.
not. Just stretching. Just trying not to pop my head off.
Please don't.
I'm
At
only
least,
joking.
at least his head is empty. Bong, 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 bong. I mean, his head is like empty as space. Nothing in there. Like a big empty void. He sold his brain for a 7-Up because he made a
You
deal
mean
with the
like
devil.
you a while back saying when I asked you how much would Laura Seekers sell his old face, his profile picture on eBay, and you said $2.
Yeah, I might change that statement. Maybe as 1 cent. Ooh, how
I would
about
say a
this?
dime. I would say a
Probably
dime because his profile ain't too bad unless it's in different colors.
true. Have you guys heard of the movie Face Off?
No. No.
Um, Well, basically, I think it's like an
Eh,
action movie where the guy is a cop and the other guy is criminal. They have their faces. Well, a surgeon take a scalpel, cut off the face, literally like rip off the face of the skull of the person, and have it swap. So the cop is wearing the criminal's face while the criminal has his face. That was the name of this face off. I never saw much of the movie though, but realistically, that's impossible. There is actually another movie, but this is not that creepy. This is actually a sci-fi comedy, I believe. But this was made in the 80s, I believe. I think I saw it once, but it was a long time ago. A scientist, he managed to develop his first shrinking machine, and he shrink himself to like a microscopic size in a type of submarine, I believe. And he enters his wife's body by accident. He was supposed to be someone else, and well, traveling around, and he later discovered that when he entered in his wife's body in this microscopic submarine, that he is pregnant. I don't remember the name of that movie, but it was kind of a little bit surprising that it actually happened. But when it comes to sci-fi, that's a lot of opportunities, a lot of well, it's a lot of things. By the way, Cypress, are you a Star Wars fan by any chance?
what?
Are you a Star Wars fan by any way?
Um, in a way, I mean, Return of the Jedi the, was my favorite. The one where Yoda vanishes in his chair. The only character I kind of liked the most out of that series was R2D2 because of the beeping sounds he makes that symbolizes him talking, which I find
Mm-hmm.
quite unique. I mean, I actually thought he was actually a real robot talking until my mother told me there was actually someone inside the body. I'm like, how on earth can some little man fit inside that body, that robot?
Well, that's true. And the language that he was speaking was binary, and not every single humans in a Star Wars franchise can understand the language.
I mean,
But the,
I
but
mean,
there's only a few that I know of.
I
Anakin,
mean,
Luke,
you probably would
Leia.
have heard. Go ahead.
Yeah, but there are only a few people that can understand that type of language. I don't.
Well, it, it kind of reminds me of the Spiral video games of how Sparks, the dragonfly, talks a little bit. The only robot I can think of that probably talks better than some humans came from an 80s movie called Short Circuit, when this robot of a some Nova laboratory got struck by lightning. He and came live and started getting information, and then the next thing you know, he starts talking like people. And he's trying to escape the lab from being disassembled, and along the way, he picks up information. He even learns how to disassemble a car and such, and fight back to avoid his doom. He even built a replica of himself, and and the people that were trying to destroy him fell for that decoy.
Hmm. Well, that kind of reminds me of a movie that I had seen, but this is actually a 1985 science fiction film. Uh, this is actually a kid friendly. Daryl, which is let's see the first one. Daryl stands for data analyzing robot youth life form, which they had taken a 10-year-old boy, and part of his brain contains a computer which makes him an artificial intelligence. Basically, it's the part of movies that he, one of the scientists behind this experiment, actually frees him after the military. They want to be using Daryl part of this super soldier program, but this one of the original scientists he couldn't believe that they are actually doing that. So he escaped with Daryl, but he dies himself during the pursuit. Um, but he is found by an elderly couple finds him and taken to an orphanage in a small town in South Carolina. He doesn't remember who or what he is, though that he is appears to be a normal preteen. He is he is taken in by a new foster family. Um, well, basically, the government finds out where he is and chase him down. He, I think he sneaks in to a nearby Air Force base and takes a Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, which is the fastest vehicle or flying plane in the history so far.
No,
Um, I
um,
mean, then
no disrespect to just sit there about being a fastest flyer jet. I mean, all types of jets are fast flyers.
uh, well, this one actually is the fastest. It hasn't no plane ever since has broken the record in speed. Uh, but anyways, he he was trying to eject himself from the plane, but it failed. Crash lands in a lake. But the foster family, um, I believe they had a son around the same age. He dives. He managed to find him, dives in the lake and pull him out, and he is alive. And Daryl by now knows everything about himself, what he is and who he is. But there's one thing he is not had to be worried is that the military won't be searching for him because he's been declared dead. And the Blackbird, well, I can tell this: the Blackbird is a long-range, high-altitude Mach 3 strategic reconnaissance aircraft. Um, as 2022, SR-71 holds the world record in 1976 as the fastest air-breathing manned aircraft, previously held by a Lockheed YF-12. Let's see the airspeed record so far is 1976. Um, wait. Uh, it managed to hold a record of 3,529. Uh, wait. That was kilometers, but 2,193.2 miles per hour, and that is the fastest flying plane ever in Mach 3. But it's possible that plane can actually could be beaten one day. I mean, the military develops new planes all the time. Well, I mean, there were one, let's see, stealth aircraft. There was actually one.
So, nothing.
Ah, here we go. You probably heard about this one. Lockheed 117 Nighthawk. It's there were actually one of those planes that crashed before it even had able to even that wasn't even high up in the air. It just about to take off, but then suddenly one of the wings, uh, in front of the plane, it had like sensors that's records the altitude and high pressure, something like that. But it has been raining that day, and
Um,
those sensors were much affected. So the plane, it swung to the left, and that the left wing hit the ground, and the pilots eject themselves out of the plane in time. After that,
serious.
the whole plane burned up. I think it cost them $1.5 billion in that.
Serious. Did this
Hmm?
explosion take place at the Henderson Air Force Base? An Air Force base
Uh,
of some sort.
let me see.
And if so, was this plane by any chance called the Spirit of Kansas?
I don't believe it's the one you're speaking of. Then Malachite.
Um, Spirit of what do you call it? Spirit of
Kansas.
Spirit of Kansas. Um, Possible. Let's see. Actually, it was not one of those planes. This is actually a B-2 Spirit, apparently.
I kind of thought I was.
Yeah, but it was kind of
Those two
like
planes to me look very similar. By the way.
yeah, because this one is kind of like the Lockheed Nighthawk. That one was built in the Nighthawk were built in the 1981 and retired in 2008 as a combat. But the other one, the Gunram Northrop Gunram B2 Spirit, also known as the Stealth Bomber, um, is still pretty much in service. That was the only one. That was that type of plane that was, like I said, that has the sensors up front, which has been affected by the rain. But as the plane was lifting, that the windshield of the plane was getting heated up, and the sensors was had the water still on it, vapor. It vapor off, and that meant the plane had to reset some of the sensors and calculate the height and altitude again, which made the plane to flying almost to more to the left, which made it. I don't believe it was even that high up in the air. I believe it was maybe as 5 6 feet up in the air, and as the left wing hit the ground, it started crashing. But it was just that at the right second, as the both pilots eject themselves out of the plane to save them. But the plane completely ruined, the burned. And like I said, there was a loss of the Air Force of 1.5 billion and like $1.5 billion. That was a huge loss, but at least the pilot was safe. I mean, kind of. Um, I don't know if you actually heard of this type of plane. Um, a Sonic plane. This was not a military use. A Condor, like Condor, if you heard about it. It's a French British supersonic airliner. Um, it was only one that's crashed. Um, Let's see, what was it? Come on, come on, come on. Where are you? Nope, that was what? Okay, that was a Soviet super plane. Nope. There was one. Um, come on, where are you? Where are you? Man, dang it.
Scooby-Doo, Pikachu, Swedish is looking for you.
Oh
Kiss
my
my
god,
ass,
it's
dude.
Robot Gamer.
Wait, what?
Robot Gamer says, "Hey."
Dude,
What?
that's a while.
What?
It has been a while.
Yeah, sorry. School's been tight.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a particular plane. You know what? I guess we'll do this. Use our friendly Google.
Okay.
I'm talking about a plane that's come on.
Hey,
Yes. Found it. Found it.
Oh,
Air
hey, guys.
France flight.
guys.
This is actually ooh. Air flight Air France flight 4590 quarter passenger jet international charter flight from Paris to New York crashed shortly after takeoff, killing 109 people on board and 4 on the ground. It was the only fatal on this 27-year operational history. So this happened at least a few years before Game Guy was even born.
Ha!
I think. Oh, friendly Godzilla 2000 here. What the hell happened here? What? Oh, okay, bye.
It is gone.
Well, it was just like his movies.
He appeared for all of 1 second. How wonderful!
He left
Wait,
because he saw Cypress. Because oh shoot, he's here. Bye. You guys are not able to see his ugly face.
Hey, I'm not
No.
ugly.
Huh.
I'm just gonna say this. Is that you, Malachi? I was gonna say that. Is that you?
Yeah, and I can say
Wow.
this. I can say this. Cypress, aka Malachite, is related to Medusa.
Why is he related to Medusa? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
You were just here for like 10 seconds, and then you're gone. Yeah, I kind of pressed the wrong button there. Oh, press the wrong button, huh? Well, you think it's too big,
Well,
like
apparently
on the movies?
I'm just getting the G.
Hello. It's been a while, man. It's been a long time.
Yep.
It's been like 5 years, man. 5 years in the Cold War. Ever since the war started, man, it's been hard. It's basically like everyone killing each other. Especially the guy right next to me who's an idiot.
I don't blame you though. I mean, Robert Gamer is an idiot.
Wait, what the heck?
Yeah, you're an idiot, but your brother is a maniac
Yeah. Well, you know me.
because he's the one. He has been planning to take. He is planning world domination. But that meaning that he had to. Yeah, Godzilla 2000 is planning world domination, and he had to take care of his brother to prevent his from taking over the world because he doesn't want to share.
Hang on. You wasn't my brother, okay? You was my nemesis, not my brother. The guy next to me is a brother, but not that Ghidorah-looking guy, okay? Not the three-headed Hydra. He was not my brother, but whatever. Right, it wasn't even his brother at all. Not even close. Wow. What? Terrible picture.
Squidward. Squidward.
Oh my god.
That's not
You
what I
suck.
thought you'd be asking for. I thought you'd be asking for Sandy, Sandy.
Or maybe hang on.
Squidward.
Hang on. Maybe I thought
Squidward.
hang on. I thought you were gonna be asking for like water.
Squidward. You suck balls.
That's a very terrible, very voice impression. Quite
Okay,
terrible.
how about this one? How about this one?
What is that?
Hang on.
Oh my god, I see it. I'm thinking Daffy Duck.
Good lord!
Jesus Christ! What?
I found it yesterday. Oh wait.
His picture
Oh,
is
my.
like, are you kidding me?
Oh wait, I found something even better.
Don't, please. Possibly terrible.
Don't worry, this is fun. It's perfectly harmless. This kind of would remind me a little bit of Malachite. And don't worry, it's not insulting. It's just sometimes people can actually feel in the morning. Come on. Here we go. Need to save it. Done. Ah, shoot. That means I have to remove
like-
one.
Oh, this is Swedish trying to set up his PC again.
What?
Not lying.
Well, possibly because the internet connection is quite bad.
Okay, this is Malachite in the morning.
Leave me out of it, you cook.
That was funny.
Yep.
That was funny. Okay, that was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Good job.
No,
I mean,
that would be me.
That Swedish me runs
Oh
off
my God,
coffee.
here he comes. Here he comes. He's back again.
First of all,
Oh,
I don't even drink
God.
coffee. That's the worst things on the planet. I think
I know.
coffee should-
Coffee quite
Coffee should be-
disgusting.
I'd rather drink Monster than coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. What,
What
do you
if
guys
they
think
made
about
a
this? Hang on,
what if
do you
they
guys
made
think
a
about-
monster? What if they made a monster flavored coffee? That'd be
No.
fucking terrible, dude.
Hang on.
Yeah, I know.
You guys,
Look at me.
hang on.
Oh,
Guys, you guys like my new profile
Turn back
picture?
the game guy.
Like, look at this. Bam. Looks cool.
Hey, Swedish.
yeah, I saw it. Godzilla and Robot Gamer are a pair of cuckoo clocks birds that don't copy the mutant buttons and free batteries. Lol.
Man, I'm tired.
Take a nap.
Oh wow! Oh my god! It's not obvious there.
So, what you guys been up to though? I mean, we haven't barely seen you guys much.
Yeah, sorry. School's been going crazy.
School's been great.
Are you
Basically.
So, since you both are 18 and you finished high school last summer, is there
No.
any plans of college, university, or
Oh yeah. Hang on, give me a second.
Yeah, most definitely, yes.
This is actually even my dream school. I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted to go to this, university. I'm sending it into the chat.
well,
since the
you can
last
take it.
but since the last time you guys were in this room, I thought you mentioned something about gonna
I
work.
misspelled that. Dadgummit.
Huh.
What?
Are you guys start working or anything?
Well, yes and no.
Not yet. No, not. Mostly no.
Whoa.
We haven't started
Uh,
work yet. Well, we didn't get a job
what?
at all, actually.
Whoa. Is this the
What?
university you want? Is this the university you want to go to?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, I never knew that.
What?
Well,
does he live in?
well, basically, is I'm not saying this the name what it is, but it's about planes, and it's located in Florida.
It's not about planes.
Oh.
No, okay, hang on. Look it up, and you'll know what I mean. Trust me.
I just did, but I still don't get it. Oh, something
now you
about
get it.
audio. It's about something about audio engineering,
Game
computer
coding,
animation.
Yeah.
basically. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's about. Hang on. It's about. Okay. It's about gaming. It's about 3D printing, laser printing, coding, movie making, welding. Basically about that.
Being an artist or something. Yeah.
oh yeah, that makes sense. But like many, like many universities, they often require very much good grades in order to get into it.
I know.
We
But
got it.
there's what I read, they even offer online studies
Hmm.
since November 2018 has approximately 8,921 students.
21.
Yeah, and so about 10,250 students enrolled in online courses.
Mm-hmm.
So 1/10. So even if you can't go to this school since it is in Florida, since you guys live in Arkansas, I think at least you did.
I see.
But since they have these online courses, it's probably something you can do. At the same time, if you have a job in your new home, in your new town, and that means that you had to travel at least you had to travel all the way there, means that you have to quit your job in order to do that because you can't like travel back and forward because travel distance and the cost. But online studies though became more and more popular these days, especially during the COVID.
Yeah.
But idea of online studies is actually not a bad idea. Not that even if COVID never had happened, online students, even if COVID never happened, online studies more likely would still happen. I mean, like for example, if let's say if you live in San Francisco and you want to go to a very pristine college or university on say in somewhere in New York, and that they had online classes.
Or like one of those fancy colleges where like those kids are like,
yeah,
oh hello, sure, yeah, sure, do what you play. Oh, how you doing? They'll be like those kind of schools, just like those fancy schools with those people with rich kids. Be like, how dare you, incompassionate, I yell at anyone. But like, imagine they just go, how dare you, you unfortunate man. And they're like all like act like superior or something.
I think the brothers are drunk.
No, I'm good. I don't drink.
I don't drink. I can speak in the Scottish accent though. I do not drink as the dishonorable man.
Ow, face.
Are you sure about that? Because it sounds like
I do not drink. Hang on. Can you do a voice impression, Swedish? Can you do any voice impression?
Oh my god.
Can you? Huh? I can do thinking Terminator, Kermit, Mickey Mouse, Yoda, for God's sake. What kind of can you do? None, exactly.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what you're even talking about.
Okay.
Oh wow!
What the heck just happened? We just witnessed someone's mental state just disappearing.
Well, this is really awesome. Shut up, Tubby.
Welcome to my streams live. That happens.
No, it's funny how we
I have
wait
to
2
experience
hours.
it all
I
the
have to wait
time.
2 hours for it to go on.
I think I remember the one Christmas stream we did 2021. I think
21.
uh,
Someone
think,
stop saying it.
our friend Cody tried impersonating Mickey Mouse.
What's up, Doc? I don't know. I can't even make any
Mickey Mouse does not say "What's up, Doc?"
Versions.
George.
impersonations.
What the heck was that?
That was Malachi's uncle. Yes! He has an uncle!
Oh, Robot Gamer.
Pretty much.
Do you remember the first time you talked, or I met my uncle on one of Swedish streams?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember.
You called him sir, and then he said, "Call me sir." It's like putting an elevator in an outhouse because it doesn't belong there.
No, you know what? I'm gonna call him Lady instead,
Ah.
sir. Lady Uncle. Or Miss Uncle.
Hang on.
Or maybe
Hang on, Swedish. Who's this Teletubby guy up here?
Hmm?
Who's this Teletubby looking guy above me on
He
the
does know
left?
he's asking for it, right?
On the right over here.
Us?
Dude, let's go. And he left. Hey,
And he's gone.
there's a Teletubby.
What is
What's up, Lady Godzilla? Since when did you become a lady?
Nice
Where's
try,
your-
buddy, but I know the name. I know the logic of how to get rid of that.
At least one thing, you and Malakat can share some same interest because he often wears a pink skirt.
Yeah. Who's this guy up here? Game guy, whatever his name is.
Huh?
You,
What?
the guy on the top right. Game guy, whatever your name is.
What about me?
Why do you look like a Teletubby?
Did you just call me a fucking Teletubby?
Yes, I
That is
did.
that is the okay. I've been called a lot of names in these streams. That is the most insulting, most stupid, most ridiculous, most dumbfounded, most fucking terrible I've ever been called.
Which one? Hang on. Which one are you?
I'm pissed that you called me that. I fucking hate the Teletubbies.
Which one are you? Hang
Hearing
on.
their name fills me with rage.
Dude,
What a
first
what
of
a
all, I don't
Teletubby,
think
the
the
Teletubby
only, okay, first of
I'm
all,
gonna
the
punch
only one
those
that's
fucking in the telly balls.
Hang on. Which one
Only one
are
is-
you? Hang on. Which one are you? Which one? Which one are you? Are you Tinky Winky?
Sorry,
Dipsy?
Okay.
yeah, because the only one I could consider as a Teletubby is probably Malachite
Anyway, where
And
the
go-
heck did he
and
go?
Godzilla.
Hey, gummit.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
I don't know.
He vanished. He disappeared.
Oh, shut up, Tinky Winky. No one likes you. I was just joking with you, man. You're fine.
Well, I don't feel appreciated anymore. Thanks. And I am being serious right now. That kind of hurt.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called joking around. It's not my fault your character on the little profile
Well,
picture
first of all,
looks like it.
game guy. First of all, I don't think you even expected he would even mention that at all.
Who?
Well, I
Me?
hate the Teletubbies with a burning,
yeah, I know.
burning passion. So
But you know, Godzilla 2000 kind of reminds me of another character from another show,
Huh?
Brainy
Brainy.
from the Smurfs, the one with glasses.
Okay, Okay, there you go. Well, this seems
Yeah,
like
he-
logical because I am. Hang on, but this is logical because I am the smarter one. I am the smarter.
Yeah, because he's smart, because but also being abused all the time. And your brother kind of reminds me of
Clumsy,
no, what was his name?
grouchy.
No, Grandpa Smurf.
You mean Papa Smith? That's his name.
Yeah, the one who has a yellow hat and pants. That was the former. I think he's about 1,000 years old.
I don't. I don't. I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
No, wait. Robo Gamer is Smurfette.
What?
You're the female Smurf that Gargamel made. Smurfette.
Oh, okay.
Highly. That doesn't seem like that. That's highly doubtable.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember this guy's name. But I think I know exactly which Smurf that Roy will perfectly fit. The one who's a super strong.
Hefty.
Hefty.
Hefty,
Yeah. Hefty.
And otherwise, Game Guy.
Don't.
More like.
I hate the Smurfs too.
I think he's. Hang on. I think he's more
No,
like
I
that.
think maybe
Hang on,
Game Guy could be. But the one's
He's vanity.
actually.
Hang on. He's vanity Smith. He's vanity.
No, I think
Why am
more
I
like
vanity? I'm not a self-entitled jerk.
I think the only one that I can see him as is the one that makes inventions.
Huh?
The Smurf that builds things.
Hang on. Build a
I
Smith.
mean, no,
Yeah, I
Handy
think
Smith.
Handy, maybe. I don't remember his name though.
What's his name? Handy Smith.
I think it's either Handy, but I don't know. It has been a while since I saw it. But Dylan, mm, uh, what was the name of the leader again? Grandpa Smurf.
It's
Papa. Oh my
It's
god.
Papa Smith. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because he reminds me of him. Not because
Where
that
do you
he's
get? Where do you get Grandpa Smith? He's called Papa Smith.
yeah, Papa Smurf. But I don't say that because not because that Dylan is old, because but since Papa Smurf reads a lot and he is a leader and that he wants to help others, and Dylan is that because he is studying to be a psychologist so that he can help people with mental problems, and he reads a lot. It fits part of his character as Papa Smurf.
Okay.
And myself, I would be like the one that bakes all the time.
Can I be Gargamel actually? Because I hate the Smurfs.
That works.
I think Swedish is more like Gargamel.
Probably.
I hate the Smurfs.
Hang on, I should take it back.
Ain't
Not
lying.
like
Game Guy. Hang on. Game Guy is Gargamel because of his avatar up there.
Godzilla can be Astral.
Who?
Stop calling
The
my
cat.
profile.
The
Teletubby.
cat.
No, wait. Godzilla can be Baby Smurf.
Baby Smith. There's no such thing as a Baby Smith.
It's a shy guy
Mr.
from Mario. Do you even play Mario?
That's Shy Guy. What do you get Baby Smith?
Well, Baby Smurf is the only baby of the Smurfs,
Well,
And
one of you
he's going
called
to
me a
be the-
Teletubby, so I don't know who.
and he's gonna be a future Papa Smurf.
Wait, what do you get? Wait, who's Baby Smith? I've never heard of this Smith.
Baby Smurf is the only baby among the Smurfs.
Hang on, I'm
He
actually gonna
appeared-
look this up. Hang on, I'm gonna look this up. Actually, give me a second.
Yeah, he's gonna be the future Papa Smurf, actually. I think maybe Godzilla 2000 can be Smurfette.
Yeah,
He's too
okay.
girly.
So that's who Baby Smith is. Okay, that's who Baby Smith is. I had to look it up because I had no idea who it was. Hey, give me a second. Wait, what? Oh, he's good. We got a new puppy.
If Godzilla, if I consider Godzilla as one of those Teletubbies characters, he will be the vacuum cleaner.
A vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, they have a vacuum cleaner in the home.
I do not know like that. I've never. I don't even remember me watching the Teletubbies. Only like tiny glimpses of the Teletubbies. I only have tiny glimpses. No.
And your brother, he can be a rock.
Oh no.
He can
He's as
be.
dumb as a rock.
He can probably be the yellow Teletubby.
Guys, everyone stop, Guess who's awake right now? The puppet. She was adorable. Oh, close the shop. Stop it.
Well, I think it's
Oh,
time
wait,
for me
that-
to end here. Has been 3 hours.
I was going to ask when this stream was going to be over, and it looks like it ended now. So
Well,
Yeah, I
done
think
a good show, man.
I think I think I passed my free plan actually at a few by an hour or so.
Well, jolly good show, everyone. Jolly good show.
Yeah. The next time I will do a stream will be Friday as normal.
All right.
Oh shoot! Friday 13. Oh. boy.
hey,
Which I don't believe in.
neither do I.
We don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
Friday 13.
Well, I guess I'll see you guys later. Jolly goodbye, my good man. Jolly good show. Bye. See you later, my friends.
Bye, guys. Well, this has been a little bit talksome as usual. And this will be the last time we've seen Dylan for a while. Maybe through the summer or the fall. Depends.
Yeah. How long are you staying in the UK, by the way? I'm not sure.
Maybe to the year 2025.
You haven't been gone that far. I mean, that long. What?
But how much
Anyway,
have you left? But how much have you studies still left though?
It should only be a little left. I mean, legitimately, I think I'd probably be done by probably 2024, I'd like to say. That's only 1 year. So that's not so bad.
Yeah, makes sense.
That was a good thing about me leaving this, though. I don't have to deal with whatever Kyle had planned on April 1st. I will find a way to prank you in the UK. Mark my words.
boy. Oh, jeez. Well, that's been fun though. And the next stream will be on Fridays. Friday 13, which I don't believe in.
Ah, yes, the day of bad luck.
I know what I will do. Stay in bed most of the day. No, wait. I will sleep on the floor. I don't know. Well, it has been fun though. And see you next time though, Dylan. Since we don't know when you will be back next time.
Yes. Well, until we meet again, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll keep your brothers. Keep them company and make them not to kill each other.
We never feel like doing that, don't worry.
Big love for that though. Well, until next time, this is Fish Diablo signing off. Bye.
Bye. Yes, goodbye. Bye.